Hi, and welcome to my life in partly cloudy Central Texas. This is Kismet, the feral grandma, and I am out for my Monday evening martial arts. I'm early, of course. I live a little further away than some of the kids do. When I say some of the kids, I include the ones in my class. But some of the after-school program kids are getting picked up, and some of the martial arts kids are getting brought. I got a little time, so I can talk to people. Yay! I had some stuff on my head earlier, and I was like trying to remember what it was I was going to talk about. I don't know. The whole carnivore community is still whining at each other about whether or not to have coffee. Oh my goodness, coffee. Something that's mildly protective of your telomeres. And doesn't really hurt anything. And some people, they can drink some coffee and it'll ruin their day. So the answer for them is obvious. Don't drink coffee. Other people, anything caffeinated, it will ruin their day. The answer is obvious. No caffeine. If you are, I don't know if it depends on your genetic background, you know, where your ancestors are from, or whatever. But if you don't have a problem with coffee, then I don't have a problem with you having coffee. If your kid wants some coffee and they seem to be okay with that, and you allow them to have coffee, then I'm okay with your kid having coffee. Some kids, there's some parents in the world who need the threat of their, we're not going to watch your kid. Don't turn them loose or let go of them in our store, or we will give them a triple espresso with extra sugar and a puppy. And then you have to deal with it. And if you need time away from your kid that badly, that you'll just let them run amok everywhere you go, then maybe the answer is sign them up for martial arts. Keeps me busy. I'm watching some of the advanced students wander in now, the kids. The 5:30 class is already underway. These ones, I don't know, it's 5:30 or 5:15 to 5:45. They get pretty intense. And I was nice. I remembered to bring a little jar of my fermented garlic to give to one of the ladies. She expressed an interest. At the same time, we had been eating my excellent pickles one day, and Melinda said, "You've got to come teach me how to do this." You know what? That'd be easy to do. Especially with those little rubbery pickle pipe lids. They'll let the pressure out themselves. They don't need really any attention until the smell is getting where you want it. And then you get a piece and taste it and see if you want to adjust the seasoning any. That's the fun part. If you want no spice, then you don't put the black peppercorns and you don't put the red pepper flakes. I mean, that's obvious. When I was very young, I would not have wanted those in my pickles either. But I sure wanted pickles. And I still like pickles. And Dr. O'Mara says pickles are okay. Gotta get your ferments in. A couple coming out with their kids. So the little kids' class must be wrapped up. You can tell when their hand strength improves or their parents are tying their belt, because when they're small, the belt looks like they're afraid to grab hold of it, choke it like you mean it, and pull tight, you know? Lots of little kids. They're good kids. I have to figure out what I'm going to do this year for Christmas and Halloween. Can I do anything that'll top what I was doing last Christmas? Now, Christmas before last, for the party, the adult Christmas party, I brought a lot of what's that ham that's one step below Iberico, but it's still a whole lot better than what you'll get almost anywhere doing almost anything in the States. There's prosciutto, which is Italian, and there's 2 levels above that, to my taste, that are Spanish. And anyway, that second one is like nobody in the U.S. is gonna know the difference, but it tastes almost as good as the Iberico. I brought a mountain of that. I bought the leg and I trimmed it down to where I was cutting off the meat. I brought a mountain of that. And I brought a whole side of smoked salmon. So we're talking something almost as long as my arm. And yeah, not everybody wants an aged, dried, cured ham. But the people who did enjoyed it immensely. This year, I might get the buffet bowls down and do a couple of kinds of pickles and possibly some sauerkraut, because you never know what it's going to be good next to until you try it. But if I'm going to do that, I've got to figure out what I want to make in advance. Yes, I realize it's only April. But being feral sometimes takes plotting. I'm willing to plot. It takes a little time, a little investment of thought. But you know, the sauerkraut, we're talking pennies. Cabbage is so cheap, and I've already got the salt. Because pickling and canning salt is the exact salt you want to use for most such projects. And then, well, we ate up a lot of those pickles I just made, so I say we. It started with me and Rick, and we're eating them next to some really good cheeses. So that extra bite, that acidic bite from the fermented pickles was just awesome with those cheeses. And lacto-fermented. Lactic acid does not just occur in milk, okay? But, oh my God, so good. I've got just enough of those left to keep me happy for a very little while. And by now, it's been a little while, so the vinegar pickles, the fridge pickles that are not processed, I mean, it's just like these. They're except these were actually fermented, but the fridge pickle, the vinegar pickles, The vinegar is fermented. That's just how vinegar works. But those are good too. And I should probably start using them. I love recipes you can sample before they're all the way done. A lot of times when you're doing stuff that's going to go into jars and then go into the processing, you put it in the water bath canner, and then there's this long time as it comes up to the full rolling boil. You get the lid on it to hold the heat in, and then you gotta wait. And then once it's at the right point, then you move it off the heat, because I have an electric stove, so you actually do have to move it. And then you bring the rack up so that the jars are sticking up out of the hot water and begin to cool. And you can use a jar lifter and move them over onto a towel if you wish, because they're going to be too hot to just grab them for a long time. It takes a while for all that heat to dissipate. And then you get that pinging of the lids popping down. I don't know if you can tell on here, but that lid is a regular canning lid. It's in two parts. The flat of it is built with a slight dome shape. And when it cools after processing, that gets the entire contents of the jar contracts and that lid gets sucked down. And there's a little pinging noise. And canners love that noise because it means everything went well and the batch processed, and you now have some shelf-stable pickles you can put on your shelf, and they'll be fine and dandy, and you can eat those for the next 5 years at least. At least. Some stuff holds out longer than that. Some stuff holds out a lot longer than that. And canning, that's easy. You find this item, use this much salt, process it this long, let it cool, good for at least this long. And good for does not mean that that's an expiration date and you have to throw it away after that. It just means that the quality of it starts going downhill after that point. Yes, it is after 5. So, yeah, it's 6 o'clock almost. A few minutes off. Whew. I'm wanting to get some more fermenting crocks, because that way I can have yogurt going in one, probably the small one, because that would be one batch of yogurt would be 1 half-gallon carton of A2 milk, and that would be something that the digestion is easier. I mean, just breeding and changing cattle to provide more and more and more milk all the time, oh my gosh, has not been the best thing for Americans. We have more people with dairy problems now because we have not kept to what has been the best. Sometimes the best means use a certain breed of cow, and there's a particular protein. Actually, there's more than one breed, but there's a particular protein that won't be in the milk, and the people who have a problem with that protein will be able to consume the milk. My digestion is not perfect. I don't have to have A2. But you know what? There's no reason not to. And then if I offer to share what I'm making with somebody, I don't have to worry if that's an issue in their life. A2 wouldn't make a difference for my sister. She is so allergic to milk that she cannot have bread that is baked and then brushed with a little ghee to moisten the crust before it's done baking. I mean, no butter, no milk, no yogurt, no nothing. If it's made with powdered milk or any milk protein isolates or whey protein isolates, it's like, she better just stay away from it. She's allergic to milk, like she and my dad are allergic to bee stings, and I'm allergic to cilantro and fennel. Except, I'm not such a disastrous allergy. I mean, I have time to get my EpiPen out, stab myself in the thigh with it, and get the drug into my leg. Thank goodness. And just thinking about it makes my mouth itch, because that's psychosomatic right now, because I have not been eating anything that I have not cooked today, which means there's been nothing questionable in my food. I had a ribeye cooked in bacon drippings. I have some tallow in the fridge somewhere. I didn't feel like looking for it. And I have introduced the older grandson to the fact that there's always bacon drippings. He doesn't have to worry about running his mother out of the oil she uses. He is welcome to use the bacon drippings. And, depending what I'm doing, I might run it through a coffee filter or just a fine wire strainer or something. Who cares? But if you've ever been in the store and see the, it is like a bulk pack, but it's vacuum packed. And it's like 3 pounds of ends of bacon and miscut slices and odd little stray bits. Sometimes those stray bits are amazing. You can get something that is actual, proper bacon, but it's like a solid chunk of meat, a third the size of your fist. If you want a bacon sandwich, that's what you need. Now, if you want a bacon banana peanut butter sandwich, first you plan ahead for it, and then you get whatever medical or dental procedure is going to get you wanting stoner food. And you have somebody around who's willing to cook you about 6 slices of bacon. Then you put the peanut butter on one bread and some mayo, since I'm not eating mayo lately, I'm not eating seed oils, I would use my not mayo. The link is in my it's in the video where I linked the video. The guy that makes it is made of cream cheese and sour cream and lemon juice, and it's got some salt and just a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, I think. Been a while. It's time to make more, seriously. But I would put that on. You put the banana on the peanut butter. Just helps it stick better. And then you pile on the bacon, and you break the slices wherever you wish, and arrange them however you wish, and then you put that other piece of bread on there. It's good. It's stoner food. So you might not be able to eat it after dental work, but when you want something like that, maybe on a Saturday or Sunday, or you're willing to eat some bread, or you find something that says it's keto friendly or low carb friendly, that's in your options. I actually ought to make one for Cliff sometime when he's holding still long enough. He eats stoner food. I see some people walking in with some kids I don't recognize. And this time of day, it just might be their only time they can talk to the after-school people. Or they might be letting the kids try out martial arts for the first time. Yay. Good parents keep kids busy. If the kids don't know what to be busy with, give them the occasional library run so that they can check out books and things. Now, what time is it? It is straight up 6 o'clock. My class is a half hour off. Yeah, I got on the topic of food because I was thinking about Christmas. Someone has already asked me to make a cheesecake. Having made a cheesecake already this year, I can totally confirm that's a lot of work. Always has been. But this is my friends. I don't have that many opportunities to make... Okay, yeah, definitely after school possibilities. Like, I don't have that many opportunities to spoil my friends. When the banquet comes around, that... I'm not spoiling anyone. That's just the banquet. And unless I get told I need to be there, I might not go this year. Now, last year was funny. Like I said, I had a nice dress that, I know how to clean up. I know that with your utensils, you start at the outside and move toward the inside. I know where the finger bowl goes, even. You would not think that I would know things like that. No finger bowls at the banquet, by the way. It's a buffet line. But, I clean up okay. But that dress I was wearing, that's when that was my best dressing up dress. And that's when I became aware of how much of a death trap the wrong size clothing can be. I was telling a friend of mine how much weight I had lost, and I could gather up a huge handful of fabric on either side of the dress at the same time. So right hand and left hand both full of this loose fabric that was no longer needed to go around me. Now I've got a much smaller dress. I have bought 2 shirts when I went on vacation. Loki and I were out, and they don't say Fredericksburg on them. They're not from the museums or anything. They're just from a t-shirt shop. They say Texas on them, and the X is formed of long arrows that are the main part of the graphic. Because one of the things a lot of the settlers did when they came here was try to live peacefully with the local tribes. And the Germans did. That was very important to them. For the most part, we're talking serious Christians, and they well taught by scripture that one of the things you gotta do occasionally is just to be at peace with your neighbors. It don't matter to me if somebody's going to church all the time or not. That's their business. I would like to, but nobody goes with me. My daughter would put up with me at her church, but I don't want to go to the Universalist type of church. I believe everyone's got a soul. That's important to me. Every human being is born with a soul. What you do with it after that is up to you. And the condition of it, if someone offers to pray for you and you get offended, then you need the prayer. Or you might just ask why, or you might just say thank you. Thank you is usually the best option. Oh, there might be a short blast of Tom McDonald. I gotta get this window up. The traffic is a little bit noisy. Okay. I don't know if it shows, but I was having a little bit of a allergic reaction, but I did take Benadryl this morning. I was rubbing my eyes so hard last night, and I had to think about what exposure have I had. Yeah, I had to think about it. Somebody was cooking probably a 10 or 12 ounce package of chorizo yesterday morning. People have to eat, and they, as seasonings and flavors and textures make it better. But retail chorizo is not my friend. I need to work out a good seasoning mixture for homemade so that I'm not bugging the guy out in Arizona all the time. That's a long distance to have some seasoning sent, but dang, it's good chorizo. And he's made enough of it over the years. I guess no one has ever mentioned coriander allergy to him until I did. And so he double checked with his wife. It's like, there's none of this in there, is there? No, there's not. That's the advantage of a small business. I have tried many times to communicate with larger businesses. And they don't answer. Not a word. I'll say, I'm not trying to find out your recipe. I just want to know if this is in it. And the smaller the business, the more likely I am to find out. Because for them, every sale matters, and every happy customer matters, because happy customers will increase their sales. Sorry, I got this itch on my arm. I pulled all the KT tape off, and I'm hoping that I won't be back into KT tape tomorrow. But it's almost 10 after, so I'm going to gather up my stuff and go inside where there's a restroom. And there's usually one or two kids that are just hungry for attention. And that's okay. Now, when I was in here last week, one kid was showing something she knows how to do. And another kid was like, why don't I know this yet? It's like cursive letters. I offered to make her a cheat sheet in the back of her spiral notebook. I had a pen handy so that I could do it with something, and she could go over it with a pencil and still erase the pencil marks. And I put arrows indicating the stroke direction. You remember the ones we had 50 years ago? I did that. I did that by hand in this child's notebook so she can start learning cursive. And I talked to her about extra flourishes. A lot of people like to include extra flourishes. It's just sweet little girls. The one that was showing, it's not her job to be teaching other kids cursive. I did look something up on my phone to make sure I had it right. I mean, how often do you use a capital cursive Z? I don't. I double checked the Q while I was on that page. But, yeah, big happy family here. Kung Fu and Tai Chi. I love this place. Love my class. And that was why I got started thinking, what am I doing for Christmas? And, you know, I might just do something crazy at Halloween. I've done that before. I've handed out sharp things to grown-ups. But that leaves all the kids out. And one year I got a whole lot of those. You can get these on Amazon. They're little shooters shaped like monkeys or ninjas or whichever. You can get different kinds. And you shoot them off your finger like a rubber band. They're a riot. And, I don't know, there's still a few floating around at my house, that's for sure. It's like flying ninjas. Whee! And some stuff I can get just by including it when it says your order is this many dollars short of shipping for free. You can get free shipping if you add another $6.57 worth of... Yeah, that's a number pulled out of Where the Sun Don't Shine. Add this much to your order and it's all good. Okay. Grandson wants me to order him lots of stuff that way all year long. And I might get him more stuff. I mean, he likes that shredded, dried squid. Shirakiku. But, hey, whatever. He also likes some other weird things. Strange boy. But, oh, Master Branson's here, so I should get my stuff and get inside. Now, if you're not interested in martial arts, you don't want to do it, whatever, at least get up and walk. If you can walk. If you can't walk, then do something you can do. I remember a long time ago, it became quite a thing for folks to go to the mall just to walk where it was indoors and air conditioned. I mean, in Texas at least, the air conditioning is important. And also there were people around in case you needed some help. If you weren't feeling well, you know, whether you're near the mall office or near a store, there were people around who could call for help if you needed help. And nowadays, everyone carries a phone anyway. I mean, just sit on the nearest bench and call someone to get you. But, waving my phone around. Tai Chi can be very mild exercise. You can go to the Y and do a workout in the pool. There's probably a class that, if it's not free, it's next to free. You can go to Planet Fitness. Try to dress comfortably. No, do something to make your life better. I like my carnivore diet. And I like just being me and doing the things I do. Yeah, there are some people in the world who would like me to be a little more normal, but that would mean being a little less feral. Currently, I do not know where my lovely tent is, but we're getting along in springtime, and when we get past the storms, it'll be time to go do some more camping, maybe. I think I'd like that. Alright, y'all. Do what you can to make your life better. Be who you need to be and feel better. And if you don't know how to figure out from an elimination diet what you can or should be eating, then start logging it. Log everything you consume and when you consumed it. Because when matters. Nothing should still be in your stomach 24 hours after you've eaten it. I started figuring out I had problems with my digestion when I'd eat something one day and like the next day, every time I belched, that was what I tasted. That's not always good. In fact, if it's 24 hours, if it's even 12 hours later, then there's a problem. And you can write down maybe your mood, and if you've got a headache, all this stuff adds up to maybe I shouldn't be eating that. I wish someone had told me how to do this when I was very young, because I should not have gone through almost my entire life feeling like I had just swallowed a brick after every single meal. I never loved my potatoes. I would eat French fries, but that's about it for potatoes. I never loved my green vegetables. I didn't really eat a lot of fruit, but I was always feeling sick. What does that leave? Breads. Breads, pastries, donuts, pies, cakes, rolls. Everything breaded is got a batter dipped or whatever and then fried. Flour. Everything full of sugar. Should not be eating that. And anyway, I've been doing a lot for myself, and that has led to the weight that came off that made that one dress that I liked so well into such a death trap. I couldn't sit down without it getting under my feet, right? I need more dresses. But I think I'll wait until I've lost a few more pounds again, because that way they'll look good. Alright. Grandma loves you and wants you to be well and happy. Y'all take care. Right, bye-bye.